how to manifest when trauma and what not to do. I was inspired to share some insights with you, and if you can relate to the fact that you might have traumas from your childhood, that you've been trying to manifest things, that you've been visualizing, that you've been trying to be positive, you've been saying affirmations, you've been doing all the work, but still the results are not showing up and it doesn't feel good or right. So if you can relate to that, this might be exactly what you need. First of all, I know I've been there and I am still observing things coming up from that I know are old energies, trapped emotions from childhood. And when I say trauma, for me, it's like when we are kids, when we are very young, we might have had experiences that are more than our system can handle. And those experiences, if our system cannot handle it, our system doesn't know what to do with them. And from what I learned speaking with a neuro coach some months ago, it's kind of like there's built a protein wall around these experiences and they are trapped. I didn't know that before, but what I'm sharing with you in these videos and in other videos, it's my experience and also people I work with, their experience about these trauma, this trapped energy in the body. And what does that have to do with manifestation? What does that have to do with you wanting to manifest more money in your life, you wanting to manifest your dream life, maybe a dream partner, maybe dream health? From where I am, from my experience, it's got all to do with it. So these trauma experiences, for some of us, we might have one accident or one experience in our life that caused this. For some of us, that includes me, I had a dad who was an alcoholic, and because of that, I've had so many experiences in my childhood that was not as a child should live. I've had so many experiences of fear, of nervousness, of anxiety, of promises not kept, of being afraid of how does that come home now, even from when I was a very little kid, even from experiences that my conscious mind could not remember, but through meditations, through other exercises, I looked into all of this, so I know they're there. And I also do know that for some of us who are brought up in an environment who might not have been as loving and caring and stable as we want for any kid, that these experiences, if we experience those things again and again and again, it's actually for many people what is called complex PTSD. And I know I've got that, which for me at least results in new things coming up all the time. And so that's trauma, that's the trauma part. Going into the manifestation part, how to manifest when traumas. So for a person who has trauma experiences, and I experience it much like energy or something showing up inside of me today, because I worked with this for years now. So I'm aware what's showing up inside of me. Before that, and I've seen this with so many entrepreneurs that I work with, that I've spoken with, before I became aware, before I learned, before my system learned that it was okay that these emotions showed up, before that, what I did to not feel those emotions was to drink more, to take more drugs, to work more, to have more women in my life, to party more. All of these things, which today I see them as distractions. And why do people do all of these things? Because if a person is keeping him or herself occupied or distracted, that person will not feel what's going on inside. And I know that those emotions might not be very pleasant to experience. And the fact is that we experienced those emotions when we were a child, but our system could not handle them. So the system locked them in, but they're still there. That's why I call it trapped energy. And the fact is that those locked in emotions, the trapped energy, we do create beliefs and stories around those. And those beliefs and stories, we have them in our system. And for many people, they keep creating life experiences today, their reality today, that comes from that trapped emotion, that comes from that story or that belief. And most of us are not conscious about this. So when we have these things and we try to manifest the good stuff in our life, but we still experience the bad things, and we just try to work harder. And I know how this is. I've done this for so many years. And we still keep experiencing the things we don't want. So what not to do, for me at least, what I experienced, I'm sharing that, and that's the trainings I offer too, from my experiences. The habit might be to work harder. The habit might be to push through it. Sometimes I know that's a very good thing. I just shared another video about staying in the cold water, something that I just learned. And on an entrepreneur journey, building a business, sometimes we see the wall or the gap, and we have to push through that. We have to stay in the cold water, and we have to overcome the things. But when we speak about traumas, when we speak about this trapped energy inside, what I suggest today is actually to, instead of trying to push harder out in the reality out there, go inside and stay, not harder, but longer. Stay, be present with that energy that's showing up that doesn't feel good. Be present with it, loving and caring, present with that energy until that energy transforms. Because if we don't do that, and that's what I say, what not to do, if we don't do that, we just suppress the energy again. We just suppress that emotion again. We just suppress that trauma again. And it's still there. It's still a program running in there. And I know, because when I was a kid, I was brought up with just push harder, don't cry, don't show your emotions, and things like that. So I learned through all of my life not to show emotions, not to be vulnerable, not to feel anything. I know I'm not the only one, so you can just ask yourself, how was you brought up, and how do you see yourself, how do you experience emotions today? And instead of pushing through or suppressing or neglecting or not being with that emotion, think about this. The image that comes to me right now is, think about it like a little child who was sad or who experienced something that little child didn't like to experience. And that little child actually didn't know how to handle those emotions. It wasn't very nice. It wasn't a great feeling. And if that little child didn't have a mom or dad who knew how to handle that, who knew how to embrace that, to be with that emotions, comfort those emotions from love and care, and help that little child to release the emotion, to transform those emotions. If that little child didn't have a mom and dad to help with these things, which I know that there are a lot of small children who didn't have, me included. Well, It was locked in there, and that little child never learned how to be present and loving and caring with him or herself and accepting those emotions. So instead of trying to running away from it, instead of trying to suppress it, instead of trying to distract oneself from feeling those emotions and trying to manifest stuff out there, instead of that, invitation is to go inside instead and be with those emotions. And some people ask me, how long does that take? Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 1 hour, sometimes it's 2 days, maybe even more. But the fact is, that's when the emotion can come up, when it can flow inside, when you are inviting it and knowing that you are loving and taking care of yourself when this happens, it can flow and it will transform itself into a higher energy. And I know how this feels. It's a very, very nice feeling. And after that, there's a feeling of, there's more space inside. There's a feeling of more flow, a feeling of more, maybe even love and happiness and joy. And then comes the question. Now think about it. If a person who has this trapped energy inside, emotions comes up, they try to distract themselves with work, pushing harder, pushing through it. But those emotions are in there. And those emotions are attached with some kind of belief, some kind of story around money, around love, around health, for example. And instead of being with that and transforming those emotions, that person goes out there and just try to push through it. So that's example one. Just think about it. That's one person. That's one example with one person. Now think about it instead. The person with the same emotions, but instead of running out there, taking care of all the distractions, the person, nice, calm and easy, go inside, loving, caring, supporting of oneself and staying with that emotion. Let it do whatever it does, and then it transforms. And after that, there's more freedom inside, there's more space inside, there's more love, there's better feelings. That's the second version here. Now ask yourself, and you are very welcome to comment below this video, which person do you believe will manifest the best things in their life? The one who pushes harder, but with all that trapped energy inside, not feeling very good. Or the one, might be that person is still pushing and still doing stuff out there, but the person takes care of the person's self first. Which one do you think will manifest the best things in their life? Most preferable things in their life? Let me know. I know from my experience. And a little example that came to me here is like, think about it, if you have like a hurted knee and you are a runner, you probably will take a little time off so your knee can heal and then you'll run again. Most people will do that. Or if you have an elbow or something else that's hurting and you're playing tennis or something, it hurts. So maybe you will take some time off and you will be gentle with yourself until it stops hurting, and then you can play again. So any kind of wound or pain or something like that, physical, normally we will take the time off, or we will do walks instead of running, nice and easy walks, so our body can heal itself and we'll get over the hurting and the pain and the infection, whatever it is, faster, right? So think about it, the same thing with the healing inside. Same thing, to get over it faster. My invitation is go inside, feel it, stay with yourself. Nice and quiet, no distractions. Maybe out in the nature, but a place where there's not too many distractions, so you really can be and stay with yourself. From my experience, and I'll look forward to see what you comment, but this is how to manifest when trauma. And also, as I said, what not to do what not to do to get the best results. So I hope this helps. And this is I'm sharing this as part of my manifestation masterclass. So the masterclass is very focused on, in this first part, on mindset shift into manifestation, into manifesting better things in your life, and emotional release. This is from my own experience, from my adulthood, all the things that I learned, the techniques that I learned, I put them together in 2 simple and very powerful practical exercises to help a person shifting into higher and higher energy and manifesting even better and greater results. And also there are some very powerful science-based facts around manifestation. That's in the manifestation masterclass. And the best thing is, all of this is free. It's a community. I just built it. All of this is new. So if you want to join us, there's a link below this video, and feel free to click and just check it out, and you're more than welcome. And I look forward to see you, and lots of love.